Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cloud-Based Mayhem. Got another special walk and fly down memory lane with Aaron Durogati for you today. There's some incredible storytelling here. You're going to love it. Aaron and I just wrapped up the Superfinal down in Mexico and sat down before the awards and before his flight home to talk X-Alps. We wind it back to his first in 2013. Where he had Kriegel in the sights for a little while, and then we go up through all of his campaigns through the last one in 2021 and talk about his preparation and what's going on for his next one in 2023. As you can hear the bells in the background, we recorded this sitting next to one another in his apartment last night, and we're in Mexico. There's music, so a little bit of background noise, but I think it's pretty good. It won't be too bad. Miles always does his wonderful job of cleaning things up. So, yeah, enjoy these crazy stories. There's a lot of them. Pretty entertaining stuff. And, yeah, don't try this at home. Cheers. Aaron, neither one of us really crushed the super final, but it's nice to see you here in Mexico.
Yeah, nice to see you too. As I told you before, this super final was not so good for me. And after today bomb out, I was really, really sad. And then I went for a hike and fly. And then during the hiking, I was pushing. And then when I was flying, I realized, okay, you don't have to be sad because you can't be like middle or so good. You are either good or really, really bad. And this time I was really, really bad. So,
well,
it's how is it.
No one else can say they've won it twice. And what you've twice win, and then
yeah,
a fourth?
I was twice first, 1 second, twice fourth,
Jeez.
one time sixth, and then once 100. And this time I think about 80 or 60. I don't know.
It's all or nothing with you, man.
Yeah, kind of. But anyway, it's sad. When it comes the low, it's ugly.
It's ugly. Yeah. There's always a point in these competitions where I think, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I even here? Why am I wasting my time? Yeah. And then you win and you're like, yes, this is the best thing ever. I want to do nothing but this.
Exactly like this. Yeah.
It's like life. It has its ups and downs.
Yeah. It is.
So I got to see you maybe at least that we talked about this, but we haven't talked about it on the podcast. I got to see you at the X Red Rocks coming off Pakistan and the Dolomiti and some phenomenal results this year. In my view, you're stronger than you've ever been. I don't know physically, but you just seem like you're really at a prime point. Maybe not at the super final, but you're going into your 6th X-Alps. I think I have that right. And you've talked before that the X-Alps has always been the one that you really haven't totally cracked the code. Now, in outside perspective, you've done really well, but for sure you're the kind of guy that wants to win. And we're gonna kind of rewind the clock, and as we've done with a few others now, I'm calling it a walk and fly down memory lane in the X-Alps. So, take us back to 2013, your first. How long had you been with Red Bull at that point?
It was just the year I entered in Red Bull.
Okay.
And it was the year I won the first super final in Rodanilo in Colombia.
Yeah.
And so I went into the race without having much experience in hike and fly race, but I was already physically quite strong.
Yeah.
Flying wise, I was for sure good, but definitely the hike and fly competition was something new for me. In a way, I feel a little bit the pressure of doing good because you come from being the World Cup winner and you go on the X-Alps. In the end, I didn't do bad because I managed to reach Monaco and be, I think, in 7th position. But I learned super a lot in that X-Alps. At the time was Renata, my supporter, which is basically my wife. and a very good friend of mine, Ondra,
Yep.
which is now racing this year.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
And we was completely lost. We was really lost, and it was at the time still the time with no really good phone, smartphone. So the navigation was totally different. It
Yeah.
was still on maps.
Yeah.
So we navigate on maps, and it was probably the most adventure X-Alps I did. Since the 2013, it becomes for me more professional, more knowing what's going on, what you
Yeah.
can do better. And actually, I had really up and down in this race as I'm usually having on the X-Alps.
You know, I remember, not to butt in, but I watched that one. I was glued to it. So I was starting to think maybe 2015. And the first day, you and Kriegel flew so fast. I mean, that was where I think the whole world went, this guy can get him. And then he had that move off the Zugspitze. And
It was before Zugspitze. Basically, we took off. He took off a little bit in front of Mai, and we fly the Pinska Valley, which is kind of highway. And I was
Man, you were
flying
crushing.
good. I was flying quite fast. But then when it came to cross the Innsbruck Valley, going to the Carvental, basically Kriegel managed to be like, I guess it was like a 20, 30 minutes in front of Mai. And that just make the race
That was the
because
race.
I had to land. I mean, I remember really like it was 1 minute ago. I had a blitz from a thunderstorm, maybe a couple of 100 meters next to me while flying.
Yeah.
And then, I say, fuck it, now I have to land. And Kriegel just went through this Mordor before me, so probably wasn't that ugly, but for sure it was not also
Wasn't
pretty.
Yeah.
And then basically he was again one day in front of us and was doing another
And
race.
he made that Zugspitze move the next morning. Remember, he did that
No.
30K. Wasn't it off the?
No,
not the
basically
Zugspitze.
he was on the Zugspitze that evening.
Did he
was-
take off the morning though?
I don't remember if he took off in the morning or in the night, but anyway, we was in Innsbruck because then I was there as first, but stuck, and the other came, and from there on you can go. So the pack get closer. Then I remember I was, it was super cool. I did a Zugspitze by hiking with Tommy, with Coconea.
Yeah.
And we arrived on top, and we was walking in the snow till the hips, and we was totally destroyed. And we arrive up, and we eat like French fries and Wiener Schnitzel and all these things, and till it was raining as well. And then I say, okay, fuck it, I will not walking down the Zugspitze, so I'm gonna fly whatever the weather is. And it was at least not a thunderstorm, but it was heavily raining. And so I say, at the time I was flying Boomerang, and I tested. I was the test pilot of that glider. I know it's flying also by wet and rain. So I took off, and I remember while flying, I was totally wet. It was like to be down a shower. And then I point like one ski slope on the direction I want to fly. And I say myself, okay, don't touch the brake, don't touch nothing, just go on the full bar till 1 meter on the ground, and then you release, you're done. And like this it went. So I land safe on a like 1/3 of a ski slope, and next by was a hut. So I was totally wet, the glider was wet, everything was wet. And I went into this hut, which was closed, but the owner was there, and he opened me, and I say, yeah, can I please try my stuff? And he said, why you are flying? What you are doing? And I remember he helped me to upside down the glider and take out the water. I had liters of water in the glider.
Jeez.
And then I woke up and then stopped rain, and I did one more glide. And then the next day I did a super move. I was the only one making Ortler by flying, and I was in second position again, and like feeling good. I did really good flight and a strong day. And then again the down. The day after I broke my glider, And
I didn't know
was
this.
I was second in the morning, and in the evening I was 12,
Oh,
and like kind of 80-90 kilometer behind the second. So
way
like
back.
really really bad. And then took my first night pass.
And remind us of the weather, because that was the year Kriegel did it in like 6 days. He kind of got out in front of you guys. Got douched with the weather.
It was like so X-Alps. It was not super good, not super bad for the pack.
Yeah.
And then basically I remember I also took the night pass in Swiss, and I worked the whole night, really the whole night. And the funny story of it was that I was hiking on the Alpen Pass above Disentis.
Yeah.
And it was like 2-3 in the morning, and I was doing everything by my own. I was working alone because at the time I didn't have someone working with me. So I was working, and I was super tired. And then I start to see down in the valley some guys was there with some fire. And then in my brain, like this fire to walk, I don't know how it calls in English. And then basically in my brain, I don't know why I was so tired, I start to think those guys should be some satanic clip. and then I was super scared. Even I was super tired. I start to run like at 2 or 3 in the morning. But what the fuck doing Swiss people around with fire in the night? That was super scary. and then it goes on, and then I think 2 days after I did the biggest flight of my X-Alps. I think I did a 240 kilometer flight.
That, yeah.
And that flight was really amazing because I was super tired, and I remember very well that by crossing Verbier, I was falling asleep like the whole time, and like I really tried to kick myself and shout to be awake, and the whole transition, but I managed to keep awake. And once I managed to get on a face, it was like, I don't know any name, but it was a big mountain, rocky face. So I was expecting strong thermal. I enter in the thermal, and I was quite close to the cliff, like maximum 100 meter next to it. Then I fell asleep.
As you do.
So, yeah, and then it goes on and on. I was completely lost in south of France. And then another funny things happened was the day before I managed to get in the goal. I was in the Isola Valley, and it came a thunderstorm. So I managed somehow to land backwards high up on 2,000 meters on a mountain. And I'm thinking, okay, good, I'm going to wait here and we'll see. And I find a little hut
You're on the French side or the
on
Italian
the French side of shepherds. And I enter in this hut just to to don't be down the rain and the thunderstorm. And I'm there chilling out, and then I start to hear like dogs. And I think, what the fuck? And then it came like 3-4 dogs, like these sheep dogs, super angry on me. And I was thinking, okay, they're gonna eat me. They're gonna for sure eat me. And I was like basically on the inside the little hut, but it didn't have a door. And the dogs stay basically where the door should be. And they are barking on me, and I'm inside, and I'm just shaking.
So
and
there's
thinking,
nobody there. It's not a real hut. It's just a house.
Yeah, it's like not even a house.
Yeah, okay.
And so I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna eat me for sure. They're gonna eat me. Oh fuck! and then like for sure this was like a couple of minutes situation, and then someone, the shepherd came and take out the dogs, and it was not a shepherd man, but it was an old woman, like 70 plus, maybe even 80 years old. And she take out the dogs, and then we try to communicate, me in Italian and she in French. and and I was trying to explain that I came with a paraglider from Austria, and
Fantastic.
so yeah, that was 2013.
How did you break your glider?
Basically, I did my first flight, and it was like a fun day, and it wasn't going so good, so I decided to land, but I was still high. I landed 2/3 of the mountain, but it was really windy and gusty. I put down my glider, I landed safe, but then I was close to a vent. And then it comes a gust really strong, and I wasn't able to put down my glider, so it dragged me a little bit. It went over the vent, and it was this vent with the iron spine.
Oh.
And it just
An avalanche vent.
No, the one for the cows.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Barbed wires.
Yeah. And then basically I had a huge hole and many little holes. And then what I did, I think, I fly down in the fin with this broken glider down the valley, and then with my supporter we kind of stick it together.
Yeah.
I didn't change the glider. I finished the X-Alps with that glider.
Oof.
Well, I think we used meters of ripstop, and then I fly with it.
Oh my gosh. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So that's some good highs and lows. And that was what year did they start? You started at the you didn't start at the Dockstein.
No,
right?
I start
the
always from
Geisberg.
Salzburg.
Yeah. Okay. But you made it that year, and it's 7th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The first X-Alps I made it to the goal. Yeah.
Okay. 2015.
Yeah, 2015.
My first with you.
Yeah, it was this super shitty day where we was together.
Yeah. That was the
super
low.
hot. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
I got to remind people. So Aaron and I, we walked off the Kimsey.
Yeah.
And remember, Gaspard flew a couple hours later and flew over all our heads. You had a pretty good day still, but I had a wicked bad day that day. Holy smokes! But you and I, we got to we did that little flight across the river, and we got with my supporters because yours weren't around, and you peeled the bottom of your feet off. It wasn't that day, but it was later in the race.
Yeah.
I saw some video where you you literally peeled the bottom, but it was that day that screwed up our feet. Mine were completely toasted from that day. Remember, you lost your Garmin thing as we were climbing up that mountain.
Garmin, and it was no water, super hot.
Really hot.
Yeah, really hot.
That was terrible. Okay, so was that the low of that race?
Yeah, that was the low, and about 2:15, I think it was the X-Alps with a lot of wind.
A lot of wind.
And I remember a kind of a high was like my flight from Chamonix.
Yeah.
Basically,
from the Brenta.
The day before, I pulled the night pass because I want to be in Chamonix the day after. But I managed to get on Chamonix by flying, basically. Yeah. And so I decided to don't use my night pass, and I rest.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I hike up like the classical...
the Brenta.
Yeah, the Brevant.
Yeah, Brevant. Yeah,
and I took off there, and it was the next turn point. It was Annecy.
Yeah.
And that was straightforward. Like, I really like this area, and I fly good, make it to the turning point, Annecy, and then I took off again, and I remember the forecast was really wind, but they say, maybe on the big mountain, it will be kind of okay. But it was not really okay. I mean, we was me, Antoine, and Gaspar flying together.
Yeah.
And I remember we always like turn before every phase and wait, like flying backwards to get like the wave, flying backwards over the peak, and then turn again with the wind and go on.
Punch it, yep.
And we did this a couple of times, and I remember I was on radio with my supporter, which was on the Galibier, and I asked how strong is the wind, and they told me, well, it's so strong that you don't have even to think about landing. Just keep on flying till midnight, because it's no way to land.
It's nuking.
So anyway, I passed the Galibier, and at least, when you are in the shit, if you are with someone else, it feels better. And anyway, we keep on going. Just the ugliest thing I had maybe overall, it was that on one of those big phase, I did like I was doing before. So I turned myself facing the wind, flying backwards and waiting to climb on the face. But I didn't climb basically. So I came closer and closer and closer, and I was still not climbing. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? I'm gonna crash into the face. And so I'm there waiting and thinking what to do, what to do, what to do. And when I get really close to it, then I get the lift. But it was just enough to pull me over the peak and then down to the other side.
Jeez.
And then I was in the lee side of this monster wind, facing towards Briançon and basically Italy. And I remember I was just saying myself, I want to go in Italy. I want to go in Italy.
Please, Italy, please.
I want to survive. And then after that, I call my supporter, which, by the way, they drive down towards Briançon, and I say, please tell me how much is the wind. I want to land. And they told me, no
land.
way, forget it. You're going to die. You want to kill yourself if you try to land here. Stay in the air. And I say, but I don't want anymore. I really don't want.
Were you still with Antoine and Gaspard at that
No,
point?
there we split out. And actually, it was Ondra as well, because at the time, the supporter could fly. And it was, basically, we was four of us. It was Ondra. I don't know where he took off. I can't remember, but anyway, he was also in that shit, and he got like a super ugly collapse, not really close to me. I saw him kind of behind me. I don't remember well, and I was thinking. I remember that I was praying for him to survive it because it looks really, really ugly.
I remember that story in Monaco. He was really scared too.
Yeah. So
I mean, he's a wicked acro pilot.
Yeah,
you guys were battling.
So yeah, 215 was also tough.
I remember one of my best memories from all the races was that year when we got to Monaco and we were all at the campground that night, and my feet were so mangled that I had a bunch of beers and then I took a whole bunch of oxycodone. So I was really off my ass and listening. We were all sitting in that circle and just listening, and every single person had stories of, I really thought I was going to die in Vars. I didn't realize the position I was in, and the valley winds were just nuking. And so I top landed just to try to figure out what was going on. And I relaunched, and it was kind of the time of the day where I didn't know if I should be the east or the west. And I went on the west side, and I was just completely hidden from the valley winds where I was. It was nice and calm. And as soon as I got in the air and I would get up a little bit and get in the wind and just smack down and then push and smack down and push. And finally I got to the coal, and I thought if I could just squeak through the coal to the windward side, I can get out of here. And I didn't make it through. And my instrument later showed a 20 meter down. And when it's that strong down, you can't really steer. The glider wasn't collapsing, but I couldn't really steer. But the only thing I was trying to do was just point for one of those little snowmaking lakes so I could land in the lake and just survive. I thought my only chance is to land in the water. And when I landed, it was just, I couldn't believe I was alive. It was, we were all telling these stories of these near death experiences, and I thought, Jesus, this is really hardcore.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Was that the year you got washed out of the air by the helicopter too?
Let me think.
Or maybe that was 2013.
It was 13. Yeah, it was 13.
The Red Bull helicopter.
Yeah. That was also really ugly because I got this collapse. I mean, they was in front of my, on the wind side, not super close, but it has to be like the turbulence of the helicopter, because basically I was close to the reach, and from nothing, it was even quite calm air, like the glider completely disappear, and I make 360. And on the second one, I managed to stop. And with the second one, I will crash into the mountain. So that was, that was sketchy.
Okay. And I think that was year.
I was also on the Gin, on the Boomerang.
Yeah. Okay. Which one?
The white and green. The first we call it just boomerang. I mean, I think it was just calling boomerang.
Okay.
It was a white and green, and then in
The 2-liner?
No, it was a 3-liner.
Okay.
At the time, it was the LM5 already. No, LM4.
That's the ozone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The other
That's what they
guys
were
was
right.
flying.
And didn't you had quite a good race at the end with those two guys, and then you made some mistake that
In 2:15.
were you quite
how
close
was
to
it?
Gaspard and Antoine at the end?
Yeah. Exactly. Now I remember. Basically, we say, okay, we don't race till close to Monaco because we just wanna survive basically the Isola Valley, which doesn't have landing and whatever. So
Yeah.
because we took off together and we say, okay, let's agree. We try to bring ourselves in a safe place and then we keep on racing.
Yeah.
But I think quite soon it was a good day, and I wasn't pushing. I tried to stay with the other, but somehow I get in front, and and then I was quite in front. So I say, okay, well now I'm pushing, and then I push, and I landed 18 kilometers from the finish from Monaco, and I was thinking, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna be third.
Yeah.
Because it was Kriegel and Sebastian Huber.
Yeah.
And then it was the year that they make it by flying.
Ah.
Antoine and Gaspar and Paul,
And Paul.
they all make it by flying.
Ah. Okay.
And
Gotcha.
I get there by walking.
Foot. Yeah. Okay.
Terrible.
Okay. Yeah.
Terrible.
That's brutal. Yeah. And 18K down there is longer than 18K.
Yeah. It's really long.
It's a nightmare.
At least times 4.
Yeah, it's a long ways.
And also with
that it's
the
out
navigation we had at the time, we was not so precise. So for sure I did more than what it was necessary to do.
there. Yeah. Okay. 2017, your knee. That was the bad
17,
knee.
it start okay with the prologue, and then already on the first day I get problems on the knee. So
Was that where the problems initiated, or were you having problems with your knee before
No, I never had problems till that first day of the X-Alps.
Oh,
On the
wow.
prologue, I didn't have nothing. I was running 1,000 vertical meter down, not feeling nothing.
But that's right. That was the prologue we didn't fly. And you ran down.
Yeah.
And it got you and Benoit, a few others got pretty hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, the point was that I start to race with the legs quite tired.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And then on the first day, I was doing, I think, a 90 Ks of running and walking. And then it started this crazy pain. And till that day, I never had knee problems, but it's also not that day I broke something. It was basically my life till that day, and that was the drop too much. And then basically I was not able to walk anymore. So it was really interesting because I keep on race another 4 days, I think. And by know that I can't walk at all. I mean, even just hiking up the mountain takes me like 3-4 hours for 1,000 vertical meter. I was really in pain. But then in the air, I was flying really good. And I was still like on the top 5 till then I had to quit the race. And I had to quit the race because I did everything good, but then I had to walk. I really had, because it was this turning point in Kimse, and I had to walk up one mountain, and then I fly down from that mountain, and by this hike I get more inflamed. And then it came also the physiotherapist, which it's working on the training center from Red Bull. And he look at a bit of me and say, look, it doesn't make sense you follow the race, because somehow you have also to walk, even just a little bit, but a little bit you will have to walk. And this, it's now too much. And so I quit the race.
Yeah. And then those knee problems stuck with you for a while.
Yeah. That was exactly the drop, a little bit too much. But as I say, it was not that I broke myself on the X-Alps. I mean, I'm a skier and I live my life fully. And even at the time I was 30, I had a knee already like a 70 years old man. And since that, I was trying many things, actually everything, to get better. I had to change a lot in my life. I have to change the training. I had to change many things I like to do. I didn't do it for a while, like, of course, running, but even like on skiing, I had to be really careful. I couldn't jump any cliff anymore. I stopped going with the longboard, which I like a lot, downhill, of course.
Yeah.
But then through the years, I kind of figured it out, and of course, a lot of help of good people, specialists, and now I kind of find my balance. So I don't have a perfect knee, that's I know now, but with exercise and physiotherapy and stretching and exercise and things, now I can make it work. And so, yeah, I'm happy now.
Yeah. It's amazing that it came together, because I remember there was at one point we had a talk, and they had said, this is, you're done with this.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story, because basically that year from Red Bull they organize one of the most famous doctor in Austria for the knees, which surgeon and take care about many World Cup skier, and I got an appointment to him, and basically he watched my MRI, and he watched not even 5 minutes on me, on my knee a little bit, and he asked me what I'm doing. I say, yeah, I'm a professional athlete and X-Alps and I can fly and skiing and stuff. And he say, well, I think that was it.
He did?
Yeah, he say,
Whoa.
really straight, like he told me like that was it. Look for another
hobby.
job.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. And he was the best one.
And he was one of the best, yeah. So, yeah, at the time I had a really big low.
Yeah.
It was really hard to get up again from this. Also because everything I like to do, it was getting not possible to do anymore. Like, I wasn't able even to compete on normal paragliding competition because I was not able to push the speed bar anymore.
Oh.
In the very bad period of this story, I was really in pain. I was like from a 0 to 10, I was constantly on 5 to 6. So
all the time.
It was all the time. Like, I couldn't walk stairs, and I mean I could walk but with pain, and I was in this loop of pain. I was tough. It was really tough, and I was actually thinking that, I mean, it was a very realistic option that I'm gonna make a prothèse on the knee, which will means okay, it's over.
Yeah.
For being an athlete.
Yeah, right.
And then it was interesting because one of the doctor of the training center, which is not specialist of knees, he just say, okay, now let's give it one more try. We try to do strength training and build up muscle. Even you are in pain, you go through the pain. They give me also some strong or middle strong painkiller to train. And I did that for 3 months. And really, I kind of, my pain becomes the half.
Really?
And then it was step by step, like I was still being between 3, from 0 to 10, about a 3. And then it takes 1 more year to be on 2, 1 to 2. And now I'm mostly, basically since that, or after 1 year, I start to write every day. I really write every day what I do and how much pain I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I can look back and see, okay, this week I did so and so and so, this kind of stuff. And and the pain increase. So I know, okay, be careful. You have to take out these things or do less. And anyway, now in the last year, and that's for sure one of the reasons why the last hike and fly season was for me amazing. First of all, from the result, but also from the feeling. I was mostly between 0 to 1. So means I feel my knee, but it's not a handicap.
Right. It's just totally tolerable.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the videos you've posted training in your garage. I think it's your garage.
Yeah.
And it's the same stuff that Ben, I mean, I had knee pain for 20 something years. I've had 9 knee surgeries and I have no cartilage in either knee. And when I decided I wanted to do the 2015 race, that was the biggest thing. I could barely walk off a curb. Sometimes I would walk off and it'd be fine. And sometimes I'd walk off and it would do this weird thing and it'd seize up and it was really painful. And he trained all the pain. I haven't had any pain since the first race because it's the same stuff you're doing. It's all the strength training and mobility and stretching and rolling all the time. I spend so much time doing that. And it was the strength training seemed to just solve it.
Yeah.
It can compensate for all the joints.
Everything I did, it helps a little bit. But because I have been also in the US, I get the injection there. I have been doing probably something like 50 plasma infiltration in my knee, where normal people does 3 in them live.
Okay.
I did about 50 probably.
What is that?
They take your blood.
Okay.
They
centrifugal,
yeah,
centrifugal or whatever.
yeah,
okay.
that's, and then this blood split between plasma and something else, which I don't know, and then they take this plasma and they put it in the knee.
Wow.
This I did. I started doing it in Verona because after this famous doctor in Austria, I find the equivalent in Italy, and I went to him and I say, "Well, this doctor say that. What do you think about?" And he say, "No, you will race." And so I decided to believe in him.
That's an easy choice.
So I did a surgery as well. And then he started with this plasma stuff. And then I keep on doing this plasma also in Austria on the training center of Red Bull. And yeah, what else? I was thinking to go to Lourdes. You know Lourdes?
No.
It's where the mother of Jesus appeared.
Lord. Please, God, save my knee. That's great. Well, okay, so let's go to 2019 because in many ways, from an outside perspective, 2019 was the race that I was just blown away with what you did because we had that walk together as we often do early in the race, and you were telling me that you had an alpinist supporter that year. You changed your team and you said, I'm not walking. I'm going to do the whole thing as an alpinist. I'm going to camp high and I'm going to fly this whole damn thing. And you basically did. It was really a cool approach. And you told me at the end, you got to Monaco and you told me at the end, you walked 19K or something on the road.
40.
40.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just unbelievable. I had a lot of days where I did more than that just in a day on the road.
No, I did a really good X-Alps. The point was, I didn't know if I will be in the race 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Yeah. Every day was a gift because I didn't know what my knee will do. And definitely I know that I can't push on him.
Yeah.
I can do vertical meters. That I did a lot.
Yeah.
But even just walking, not running was not an option at all.
Yeah.
But even walking on the flat on asphalt was as well not an option. And the only time I had to do it, it was to Saint-Hilaire. And it was like a 21 kilometer push, and that was it. And then I did a couple of 2 kilometer here and 3 there and whatever.
Right. There's that great footage of you walking out of the Geisberg, dead last, and then you were still one of the top to the top. I mean, as soon as you get to the hill, you're just a lightning bolt. But you walked out of the Geisberg,
Yeah, but more funny is like the prologue.
Yeah.
Do you know the story of the prologue?
No, don't.
I start the prologue, and everyone is running away, and I'm walking. So after 1 minute, I'm alone.
Yeah.
So I'm walking alone, and I don't know where the path to go on the prologue start is. So I'm a little bit lost, and then some guys of the organization he saw me, I asked him, where do I have to go? And he sent me basically to the cable car because he was thinking I'm not racing, I'm just like a tourist there,
That's
so
right. Yeah.
I'm getting to the cable car station, and I say to another guys, where should I go now? Where is the path? And he said, but are you an athlete? I say, yeah, I'm Aaron. Yes. And he said, but you are wrong. You can't take the cable car. You have to go the other way. And I said, what the fuck? The other guys told me I have to go here.
Oh my
So I did
God.
like another kilometer more. And then I keep on walking all the asphalt street. And then we get finally on the ski slope, quite steep. And there I start to push. And I was, I think, 6, 7, something like this on top.
Yeah, you beat me to the top, I think, that day. You fucker.
Yeah, like up here, I'm strong. Just I couldn't walk on the flat. But, I think I was really lucky because the weather of 219, it was the best
great.
Weather we could have, in the matter
No
that
fern,
it was
no
never
wind. No.
and if was raining, it was just some light rain. It was
You could
not
take
thunderstorm.
off anywhere
So,
that year. Anywhere you were, you could take off.
I think that was the biggest luck I had, to be in this situation with my knee, that I had to do this approach of not walking, but from the other side, having the weather, which give me the chance to do the race like I want to.
Yeah.
And actually, till the very end, again, I was like fighting for, I think, second, third or fourth place, something like this. And in the very end, I fuck it up like I'm normally doing, because I decided to take a route which didn't work, and then I had to walk.
You told the story before.
Actually, now I have a funny story about that night, because again, I didn't want to walk on the asphalt.
Yeah.
So Eli, which was my supporter, and she will be on the X-Alps next year as an athlete.
That's right. Yeah. I'm interviewing her in the morning.
I told her, make me a route where the shortest, and it can be up, down, whatever. Anyway, I have like a strategy for the down, because walking down was as well not an option for me.
Yeah.
Really, not even 100 vertical meter.
Yeah.
It was not an option.
Yeah.
So I basically walk everything up, and on the way down, I have crutches.
What?
Yeah, we had in the camper, we had crutches.
That is awesome.
I was told it to my supporter, be careful with this. No one has to see them.
Okay, well, that was the year. You've already told the story of you were flying through Le Grave, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I also had an amazing flight through there. It was ODing and stuff, but at that point I didn't care anymore. But you were watching YouTube videos to stay awake.
Yeah.
But do you have any more? Do you have a high from 2019 that you remember like that was really special?
I think that 2019, it was all in all like a good time. We often stop early. One of the best place ever I stopped, it was on the Aravis. After the Mont Blanc, we stopped just below the Aravis. I mean, just below the cliffs.
The spines.
So on the plateau. And we slept there on the camper with the view of the Mont Blanc, like amazing. And basically, I was already on the takeoff, means I wake up like at 8:30.
Yeah.
I wake up at 8:30. I had a massage from Tazio, and I walked like 20 minutes, and I was on the takeoff. Downside, that day was super stable.
Oh,
so
brutal.
Super stable. So normally the Aravis, you don't do one turn, not even one. You just stick on the face, and you just fly straight to Saint-Hilaire. And that day was like a sauna.
Yeah.
It was like up and down and doing hike and fly, like to get to Saint-Hilaire. And in the very end, I had to walk this 21 kilometer.
I had an experience there. I was a day behind you guys there. Ben and I walked up to a perfect launch. I had 3 or 4 flights getting out of Chamonix and getting down to this place, and we were packing snow onto our balls and onto the back of our neck. It was so hot, and it was the same. It was 100 degrees in the valley, and it was 100 degrees at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I've never seen anything like that. In the haze, and it was just.
It was, I
so,
think, in the Saint-Hilaire Valley was about 40 degrees, and I remember that night I slept so bad, and that's why it was the flight after was the one I was
YouTube
again falling asleep, and I started to watch YouTube videos to stay awake because it was really super hot. Like
it was incredible.
Yeah.
That was for me. That was the worst weather of all the X-Alps because it was just, we got to this launch at 3 p.m. It was perfect. And I didn't get a single blip all the way to the valley floor. And then I walked 40K to St. Hilaire. It was just torture. I landed and went, I can't believe I just did all that work. To do go
It was
nowhere.
a sauna.
Oh, it was a sauna. Yeah, that was brutal. Okay, so 2021, the first time we don't go to Monaco. It's the out and back, and you were having one. You were really in there.
Yeah, in 2021, I was already good on my knee.
Yeah.
So again, the strategy changed a bit because I could walk.
Who's your team?
Bruno, so this mountain guide, which will be my supporter also. On the next X-Alps, it was Eli, which will be an athlete on the X-Alps. And
that's pretty cool that 2 of your supporters are going to be in it this year. Yeah. That's really cool.
And then it was Daniele, which is a photographer, and it was Tazio. And it was the year of the Lamborghini. So my supporter was driving quite a fancy car. And
I don't know if you know this, but Tazio supported me in 2015 for a few days. It was great. Yeah, it was awesome.
And the 2021, it started okay. Like actually, the very first day, I was the beginning very good, then kind of average. I spent the first night in a tent again to be up, high. And then keep on going quite good towards Zugspitze. I think I was 3rd, 4th, something like this. Then I had the first super ugly flight from the Zugspitze. I mean, not the Zugspitze, but Lermoos. There I was flying. I think it was the record of my speed. I had 110 kilometers an hour.
Jeez.
And not
big storm
in the stratosphere. No, it was not storm. It was just wind. I was like 150 meters over the ground, and I was flying 100 km an hour.
Jeez.
So that was quite sketchy.
In the Inn Valley? Or what? Yeah. Okay.
But there, I basically, it's this pass, Fern Pass, going down to the Inn Valley, and I fly this valley out, and this wind just pushed me out. But on the other side, you had a mountain. So again, I turned myself before the mountain, facing the wind, flying backwards, getting before the mountain. I was catapulted in the stratosphere. And I remember that was also quite funny because at the beginning I was super low and I was scary. And then I was getting too high, I was scary as well. and at the same time, when I'm there and climbing with 4 or 5 meters and not seeing an end of climbing, I'm seeing towards my home place, Merano, and I'm thinking, what the fuck, now I turn and I go home. I don't want anymore. But then, probably you see this video in the end, then I landed in the valley flying backwards. It was quite a viral video of my flying backwards and blah, blah, blah. But I survived it. When I landed, I take like a 10 snooze and I say, what the fuck, now I don't fly today for sure anymore. And I chill a bit and then I'm going to walk. Then the day after was one of the best days for me of that X-Alps. I took off with the idea I'm going to do a hike and fly towards St. Anton. And it turns out that I land in Swiss.
You're trying to get to Santis?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was the first to get in Santis, and I was the only one doing by flying.
Ah.
But where I took off Actually, it was funny. I really took off with nothing because I was thinking I'm gonna just glide down, and I take off and I had a thermal, so let's make this thermal up a little bit. Then I go forward and another thermal. I'm thinking, okay, start to be cold, but okay. I make that one too, and
So
then
you've got no jacket, you've got nothing.
Nothing.
Just got your speed sleeves.
And then I'm going to St. Anton, where I was supposed to walk there and taking off from there. And I'm passing St. Anton, I'm thinking, what the fuck? So I'm calling my support and I say, if I top land now here, can you bring me the stuff? Yeah, it's gonna take 2 hours. And I say, oh fuck, the date's too good.
So you just kept
So
going.
I keep on going. Actually, no. I have to say the truth. I top land because I had to shit. And I took off. And then I keep on going, and I make it to the Santis. And I make it to the Santis.
So you thermaled all the way across the valley?
Yeah.
What, early in the morning?
I took off, I don't know, at 9 in the morning.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And
Just working.
Kriegel and Patrick was way in front of me. And they bombed, going, I think, quite close to the Santis. And just make it by flying. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. And then... exactly, like I felt, okay, this is some bad karma now came because it was too good. So I'm making the Santis by air and I have a convergence line in the direction I have to go. So I'm thinking, wow, I just keep on going. And I see like literally disappearing this convergence just in front of my. So I'm going and bam, disappear. I'm going to the next one, disappear. And the next one, disappear. And I'm on the ground.
Oh.
And then I'm starting to walk and Kriegel and Patrick take off and fly just above my hand. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? And then, I keep on doing hike and fly because it was still early.
Yeah.
And then I had the first very sketchy situation that day. With I basically miss an airspace. I don't know how it calls this valley in Swiss by 3 meters.
Oh.
And I remember when I landed, I took off. I take a screenshot of the XA track just for me to double check because then like it was the same when I was 18 years old. And I was in the school. I was really bad at school.
Yeah.
And when I did this to finish the school, on the end of the high school, you have this big exam.
Yeah.
And in Italy, it's from 0 to 100. 60, you pass. You pass, and 59, you don't pass. 100, it's maximum. And I did this exam, and I managed to get 60. Like... 60, not 61, and not 59.
Just barely.
Yeah. And I remember that it was still like 3 weeks after, I was still asking to my friend, are you sure I make it? Are you sure I make it? And so they took at the time it was not smartphone, so they take a copy of this paper which was hanging on the school to show me, you take 60. You made it.
You're right.
And the same thing was with this airspace. Basically, I took off. It was coming a thunderstorm. And it was starting to be late. And I say, no, I will make it. I don't want to sleep up here, And so Eli told me, don't take off, sleep up there. We come there. You will fly for sure into the airspace. And I say, no, I will make it. So I'm taking off, being, of course, way too optimistic. And I get splashed down. And basically the airspace, it's on the valley and touching a little bit the mountain. And I'm really splashed down, go down. And in the very end, I'm basically on the tree and the airspace, it's 100 meter, 90 meter, 50 meter, 10 meter. And on the last corner where the airspace ends, I managed by 2 meters to get out of it.
And landed?
And landed in the valley in a field.
Oh.
So was scary.
But you did hit airspace, right? Later?
But
That's
way
later.
later.
Okay, so
Way
keep going. Let's get to that.
Basically then the day after start really bad. I was sick, super sick. I don't know what I got, but I basically vomit and I had diarrhea. I was really bad. And I had a long hike in front of my to a pass. So I went super slow. Maxime overpassed me. Patrick, Krieger was already in front. Got to this pass, and then
where are you now?
I don't know how it calls this pass. It's before Andermatt.
Okay, so you're still going. You're still going out.
Yeah. Basically, where Theo and Nicola crashed.
Okay. In that valley with all the cables.
Yeah. And now I have the story of the cable.
Okay.
So basically, first of all, I have to say I was lucky because then it came like a storm and started to rain really hard. And so no one can do nothing. And so I was in the camper and taking some tea and tried to get better my stomach. And then stop rain. And I think I was with Benoit. Yeah, I was with Benoit. And we hiked like 50 meters over the pass. And basically in front of us, it was some little rain. And in front of us was totally cloud cover. And I had some turning point where to fly. Basically where Patrick and Krieger was a side valley. And I say, yeah, I will make it. Maybe the thickness, it's not so big. I'm always quite optimistic. So I took off. And then with Benoit, and then we fly into this valley. And then it's one little hole between all the clouds. And Benoit start to spiral down. And I think, that's smart. But I'm not gonna do it. So
oh, Aaron, I love it. That's what I should do, but I'm not gonna do it.
So I keep on going, and then I realize, okay, I'm now in the shit. I'm totally in the fog. I don't see nothing, literally nothing, and I know that I'm in a narrow valley in the Swiss, full of cable. And I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? So I start to look at my phone, and luckily I had internet connection. So I'm putting no, actually not on my phone, but on my phone, on the Navitaire application, the CU.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to put the satellite picture and looking for fields and press on it and see which glide ratio I need to get there. So I press one, and it was too much, like 15 or 20. So I press another one, till I find one to glide ratio 9. I say, okay, this should be my one. And I'm flying totally blind.
Jeez.
Just looking at the Google Maps. And okay, this 9 should be good. So I'm following the arrow, and I'm going. Okay, I should be almost here. Bam! I landed.
What?
Yes.
You couldn't see the whole way to the ground? That's insane.
And then, even worse is that basically I land, I start to pack, I send my position. My guys make it super quickly there to me because there was a street going up. And we start to walk up, and little by little the sky is clearing up. And I see I basically pass below one cable, next to another, and above another.
Jeez.
So just poor luck.
Good thing you didn't see him.
And then it was also funny because it was Benoit, Maxime, and me. And basically, I think I was in the front of them. Yeah, I was, I think, in the front. Yeah, because of course Benoit did the spiral, the intelligent thing. So I'm actually going easy because before I was so sick. But then we see, okay, the weather, it's really ugly. It's going to be a shit flight. And I say to Bruno, yeah, I think we should take off first. Because if I will see them flying, I will get scared.
Yeah.
So we get up. In the end, it was like racing to get up as first, but not because you have some advantage, just because you will not see what the other will have as a shit flight. And so like this, we race, we arrive up. I open the glider, Bruno helped me few things, and basically me and Benoit took off together, and Maxime was still not ready, and we took off, and it was like super hardcore, like going up, collapse, down, collapse, up, down, and Bruno told me after that, yeah, Maxime, change a little bit the face after.
Oh,
But then we keep on going. It was undermud, still rain. Then
Were
I
you able
did
to fly? So the Cable Valley, I can't remember what the pass is really flat there. So that's where you're talking. You flew on the other side where there's still all the cables. And then
Yeah,
there's-
but we fly in a side valley.
yeah,
And
so
get
you
quite
made it up
close
into
to
the-
Andermatt.
You went up into the Rhine from there.
I don't know.
The Rhine is the Descentis one.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. We went. Basically, I arrived to Andermatt from a highway. In the end,
Okay.
we did this shitty flight, which was really shit. The first 500 meter, or maybe 1,000, and down in the valley was okay.
Oh,
Interesting wise.
yeah.
And yeah, then I landed next to the highway, kind of on a street anyway, and then walked to Andermatt. Then I did a hike and fly. Basically, I hike and on the mountain, and Benoit was walking on the street. And in the end, I took off and landed exactly again to him. But I was happy because I didn't walk on the asphalt, so
Yeah.
it was good. Then went to the Furka, had this shit flight from the Furka down with this ugly, super ugly cloud coming down from the
snake.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, down the rain for sure. It
Yeah.
was raining as well. Then get the next day to Fies. Was going so, not really good, but I was always in the leaders. And then I had the worst day in the day crossing the Mont Blanc, basically. And actually in these X-Alps, I did everything quite good. I was quite happy with my performance, and I'm still happy. And I think I did just one real mistake, but I pay so much for it because I was the only one from the leaders which didn't make it over the Mont Blanc.
Yeah.
And this cost me 1.5 days.
Yeah.
So
What was that? What happened there?
basically, I took off on the turning point, this turning point close to the lake of
Yeah.
Ginevra.
Yeah.
And then it was stable. I was with Simon Oberauner.
Yeah.
It was stable, but we was fighting, and somehow I didn't fly bad. Getting to Samoa, there I had to do a little hike again, took off again. And then basically I didn't, now I know, now since I did the Mont Blanc Air Tour, if I will have done the Mont Blanc Air Tour before this last X-Alps, I will not do the same mistake I did. But basically for me, there was everything new. Eli tried to give me the direction, but sometimes me in the air, I can't understand what she mean exactly, and in a way what is not in my brain, I can't figure it out in the air.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing that what I know, and I fly the Col de la Jolie, which is the only thing in this era I know, because on the past X-Alps I always fly there.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Okay.
So basically it was a left or right decision. I took right and it didn't work. But even worse was that I I went to this mountain and I get really big sink before getting into it. And then I had like a soaring session and thinking, okay, I'm gonna make it. And then, bam, landed. And half an hour later, like 10 or 15 beginners with like a glider took off and they go in stratosphere. So I was thinking, okay, that's really too much. That's really too much. But that's my life. It's up and down.
I had an experience in the 2015 race when you three took off from the Brabant. I was back at the Col, just about 20K back from you guys, and like you said, it was perfect. I mean, it was so easy to fly to Annecy, and Annecy is a place I know really well. And I flew really fast to the Brabant, and I saw you guys, and I flew to the Aravi, and there's clouds, and I bomb on the backside of Planfay, and then I get eaten by 2 Rottweilers.
Okay.
And do you remember that day? There were 300-400 people in
Yeah.
the sky. Everyone is flying
Yeah.
around on A gliders, and I'm an X-Alps pilot, and I'm getting eaten by dogs on the backside, just cussing at myself. What is that? Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing. Okay, so then you had to walk around Mont Blanc,
Yeah, I
over
had
the
to
pass
walk,
where everybody else
but
did.
I have to say, okay, that day I was really sad, almost sad, in a way sad, like today, for example, when I bombed, really sad. But then somehow, you think, okay, life, it's going on, and the race, it's going on. And so I tried to enjoy, and actually enjoy, because I did basically part of the ultra trail of the course of the race.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I came to the Italian side and was looking for a good pizza. So I find little by little my motivation, and I keep on going. And actually I was again racing hard, and I was happy.
Yeah.
I know that I will for sure not win anymore. I know that I will not get the first 3-4 guys because they are way too in front. I lose 1.5 days. But I find my motivation to keep on racing. And I'm racing, and then I hit the airspace, and there, well, it was quite, I don't know.
That's the Locarno airspace.
In Locarno.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about airspace. Eli just make everything for me, and on the takeoff, she explained me, and she say that I have to fly like this and this. But in the end up that either I fly into this airspace or I land into the trees. Because normally this airspace, it's like if you stay 50 meters next to the mountain, you can fly
Under it.
AGL 50 meters or something like this, you can fly it.
Yep.
So like this, it's thinked already the airspace. But actually on X-Alps file was
All the way to the trees.
all the way
down.
down. And so basically I see this, the instrument tell me, you can't go there, but on this side I had only 3. I either go in or land in the tree. And I went in and again for just a couple of meters.
Yeah.
But in the end, somehow karma, like I missed one for 2 meters and I hit the other for 2 meters.
Ugh.
But it was really no other way. I mean, when I landed, I say, okay, you want to be in the tree? No, you don't want to be in the tree.
Yeah.
You are safe.
It's good. All good.
So then we keep on going because it wasn't unsure if they give me penalty or not. So I keep on racing. Till in the end, they told me, okay, if you take the night pass, then you will get it the day after, whatever. So basically, I know it that my race will end up one day before the others.
Yep.
And so I keep on racing, and then finally I managed to get to my home place, and that was fantastic because I did a hardcore flight towards my home place. Then I arrived in my home place. It was terrible weather, and I did a flight which probably I will never do in my life with this shit wind and whatever it was that day. But it was cool because I see my place in the race, and with the weather I
Totally
will
different way.
never go to fly otherwise,
Yeah.
So that day I fly super good, and I end up my race, I think I was 5th or 6th. But then I had
Then
to
you had to
stop.
wait. Yeah. Then you had to
I
stop.
basically ended, and that's also like, again, karma shit. Like, okay, I'm racing and going as fast as I can and take the best thermal, and then I'm looking at the clock, it's 5:30, and my race was stopping at 5:30.
Yeah.
And then I'm in this valley just behind Kronplatz, and I say, okay, it's 5:30, I have to go to land. And I'm going in the middle of the valley, and it's just climbing everywhere.
Just
like
perfect
literally
glass off. Just
everywhere, like 2 meter constant
You could've done-
everywhere.
you could've
And I
done
had
anything.
to spiral a half an hour to go land.
Oh.
And again, a school of German, full the sky of A glider, just cruising everywhere, and I'm there spiraling down to land, you know.
Oh, it just crushes your heart.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You could have just top landed Kronplatz and kept going.
I was thinking to just turn off the live tracker and do it by myself.
Just keep going.
But I was also tired in a way when you finish this adrenaline of the race. And I say, what the fuck? You go tomorrow in the swimming pool. I was 1 hour from my home place.
Yeah.
So in the end, that night I sleep still there with the team. We took a hotel, and the day after I went to my home, and I even didn't went to the prize ceremony because I didn't have any days to drive 4 hours.
Yeah.
If I'm already home, you know.
Yeah, you're home. It's
So-
kind of neat to finish at home. I got to ask, so 5 of these, we talked about this a bit at the X Red Rocks when you came out for there, but I think when people listen to this, they think, God, the risk that these guys are taking, the flying in the cloud and all that. Does that change for you over the years? I mean, I remember you and I did some training together in the 2015 race, and you launched that place where we were just training, and I thought, geez, that's a risky, I don't know if you remember that. We were up near where Toma got crashed.
Yeah.
It was really pretty wild air
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff, and but you seem to really thrive on that side of it. The 21 race, I had that, but in the 21 race, the weather was so brutal. There were so many times where it was just, you're for me, in the air. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not a recreational day by any means. It's, there's lightning and all this stuff going on, and I would land, and 2 minutes later it would just be. If I'd been in the sky, it would have been a serious problem. Just incredible rain or thunder and brutal.
Well, after the last race and by the last days of the race, I was thinking, I think we are getting, or me at least, just me, I don't speak for the other, but I'm getting a little bit too much on the edge. Like, I calculate with my team's mate that I had like 12 or 13, I don't remember, 12 or 13 situation where I could badly hurt myself during a 12 days race.
Yeah.
So it's too much. I mean, not even Formula One or MotoGP pilot, and they got millions of euros, risk so much.
Yeah.
So I think personally that when I'm out of the race, I try to think that it's stupid sometimes to risk so much. But the problem is that when you are in the race, you think different. And what I think and what I hope is that somehow this kind of a race like X-Alps, we can try to make it a little bit more safe by, for example, making a little bit longer rest period.
Yeah.
Because, for example, on the Dolomiti Superfly I did this year, it was also brutal weather. In the end, I was 3 days racing because we fly with every weather. Nowadays, a bit thanks to the glider, a bit thanks to the pilot skill, it doesn't exist a weather you don't fly anymore.
Yeah.
You fly everything.
Yeah.
And so we had a first day, really nice, safe and everything, and a second and a third day, like super hardcore, like really, really hardcore.
Yeah.
Like 60 k's of wind on 3,000 meter. For a paraglider, it's too much.
Yeah.
But we fly, and we was super efficient, and we closed the race. It was a 400 kilometer. It was not that short.
Yeah.
And we make it in a 3 days, not even, basically 2.5 days.
Yeah.
But on the Dolomiti Superfly, we had way longer rest period, and at least I felt when I'm going flying,
You're fresh. Yeah.
And
It's something Kriegel's been pushing the organization every year, but they never do it. It's never changed.
I think we as an athlete has to do something, because otherwise, I don't know. Well, it's because you can't forbid the fly.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's against every concept of this
The race.
adventure race. But otherwise, another option will be just, in my eyes, to don't give any time. Just make it 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then every athlete will find his best resting period.
Yeah.
But I think, X-Alps, it's tough. I mean, it's 10:30 in the night and 5 in the morning. Yeah. And for sure, like, if it's like,
and that's when you're starting. It's not, you're not going to bed at 10:30. You're not starting, you're not waking up at 5.
For me was because I have always in the last X-Alps a doctor with me, which treat my knee and also sometimes back or whatever. And so it was very rare that it was, since I stopped, at least 1 hour.
Oh, yeah.
That was totally like standard.
Yeah, I do the rollout and the whole thing and the stretching and a little bit of talking with the team, and then you go to bed. And then in the morning you're up at 4.
So it becomes like 4 hours of sleeping for a 12 days. It's very little.
I've often thought, is that part of there's a lot of things that are addictive about the race that are just so compelling. And part of it for me has been that headspace. I can't fly like that just normally. I would land. It would just be, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to fly in 60K an hour training. That would be stupid. But in the race, you do it every day.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And you got it. You've got those moves. And you're going to pull it off. It's weird. It's just strange. It's an incredible headspace that you get in. And then the race is over and the headspace is gone.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Yeah. In a way, during the race, you are a different person.
You're a different person. Yeah. So I want to finish on looking forward to this one. You and I had a good talk about this after you won the X Red Rocks this year. You're going to go into it with a bit different approach.
Yeah, like this time I'm going to have 2 supporter like Bruno and another Alpine guide, which is a good friend of Bruno and becomes a good friend of mine as well, which is Federico. And they are both flying, but they are not like competition pilot. They are not cross-country pilot. They are flying.
Yeah.
So the approach is basically that I will have to take all the decision by myself, with the idea behind of, like I'm flying 20 years and I have a lot of experience, and in every competition so far I want to win. I managed to win. But I never do normally team competition where I have a team and I have someone which can actually help me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this, it bring me also a bit away from what I am and from my ideas. And it's when I had Ondra and Eli, they give me like the perfect support you can wish. But maybe I don't need this. But I'm not sure. So on the Dolomiti Superfly, we tried. So basically, they support me on the ground. And once Bruno I ask him, give me a takeoff somewhere there, and he finds something. But otherwise, I was taking my decision by myself. Everything, actually. But the difference is the Dolomiti Superfly was shorter. And let's say a half of it, I know it because it's close to my home place. The X-Alps, 3/4 of it, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different. But I want to try. So, I mean, the other ways I already try. And this way it's something new. So give me motivation to try different. Because otherwise I will also run out of motivation, if I don't change something.
Yeah.
So that's it. We'll see.
What a pleasure. Thanks, Aaron. That was a lot of fun. Let's go to the awards and show our respects there. And thanks for sharing these stories, man. That was awesome.
Thank you, Kevin. Always a pleasure.
All right, bud. Thanks. If you find the Cloud-Based Mayhem valuable, you can support it in a lot of different ways. You can give us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or however you get your podcast. That goes a long ways and helps spread the word. You can blog about it on your own website or share it on social media. You can talk about it on the way up to launch with your pilot friends. I know a lot of interesting conversations have happened that way.
And of course, you can support us financially. This show does take a lot of time, a lot of editing, a lot of storage and music and all kinds of behind the scenes cost. So if you can support us financially, all we've ever asked for is $1 a show. And you can do that through a one-time donation through PayPal, or you can set up a subscription service that charges you for each show that comes out. We put a new show out every 2 weeks. So for example, if you did $1 a show and every 2 weeks, it'd be about $25 a year. So way cheaper than a magazine subscription, and it makes all of this possible. I do not want to fund this show with advertising or sponsors. We get asked about that pretty frequently, but for a whole bunch of different reasons, which I've said many times on the show, I don't want to do that. I don't like having that stuff at the front of the show. And I also want you to know that these are authentic conversations with real people, and these are just our opinions, but our opinions are not being skewed by sponsors or advertising dollars. I think that's a pretty toxic business model. So I hope you dig that. You can support us. If you go to cloudbasedmayhem.com, you can find the places to support. You can do it through patreon.com/cloudbasedmayhem. If you want a recurring subscription, you can also do that directly through the website. We've tried to make it really easy, and that will give you access to all the bonus material, little video casts that we do, and extra little nuggets that we find in conversations that don't make it into the main show, but we feel like you should hear. We don't put any of that behind a paywall. If you can't afford to support us, then just let me know and I'll set you up with an account. Of course, that'll be lifetime, and hopefully you're being in a position someday to be able to support us. But you'll find all that on the website. All of you who have supported us or even joined our newsletter or bought Cloud-Based Mayhem merchandise, t-shirts or hats or anything, you should be all set up. You should have an account, and you should be able to access all that bonus material now. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your support, and we'll see you on the next show. Thank you.